All right, we are on video number 6, I think. Video number 6. But for today's video, we're gonna go over something pretty simple. Again, I'm gonna go over the simplest stuff first, and then we're gonna keep going over the more and more videos as we build. But again, I'm just gonna keep things simple. I'm gonna teach you the way I trade. If you don't like the way I trade and the way I explain things, you don't have to follow what I do. Again, it works for me. Whatever works for me, I'm going to put out there on social media. And if you guys want to follow that, it's totally up to you. But it works for me the way I trade. And this is how I identify stuff. So again, if you want to hate on it, just go watch a different video. I don't care if it doesn't work for you. This works for me. I'm just trying to help people to learn this stuff. And again, I don't know. It's the way I trade. So what we're going to be going over today is just trends, highs and lows. Again, the market moves in trends, and I want you guys to be able to identify highs and lows. This is more for people who are still at the beginner level of trading and just want to learn how to read the markets and everything like that. So again, if you're more advanced and you already know what highs and lows are and uptrends and downtrends and consolidation, you could probably skip this video. You probably don't even need to know it. So again, you already probably do know it if you're more experienced, but overall, if you are a beginner, you're going to need to know what highs and lows are and what uptrends are, downtrends, and also consolidation. Again, we're going to need to know highs and lows for the next video when we go over break of structure. We're not going to go over break of structure yet on this video. We're just going to show what trends are, what highs and lows are, and what you guys should do if you're not experienced in the market yet and you don't know what these are. You should go back and back test and just look at what I'm trying to explain to you and show you what a high and a low is and what an uptrend is, a downtrend, and also consolidation. Other than that, you shouldn't skip forward, try to do anything else yet. I'm going to teach you this stuff first, learn it, and then make sure you could just see it whenever you look at the charts and it's not confusing to you. Once you know that, you move on to the next step to like break a structure and stuff like that, and then we're going to keep putting the puzzle pieces together, and then boom, hopefully you're a good trader. Good? Awesome. Let's go. Okay, so same concept as the other video. I'm going to draw all the stuff out for you guys on my TradingView chart. This is TradingView again. You should know what TradingView is by now. I'm going to draw it out for you. I'm going to explain everything, and then we're pretty much just going to go from there. Okay, so what we're first going to go over is what a high and what a low is. So let's start off with the high. So a high has to consist of an up candle, so a bullish candle. For me, a bullish candle is a green candle. And then it has to consist of a bearish candle after that. So for me, that's a red candle. For you, it should probably be a red candle too. I don't know how your colors are, but again, it has to be first a green candle, a bullish candle, and then a bearish candle, a red candle, and then you mark the high of the wick of the highest candle. All right, so let's go over what a high is. We'll get our little handy dandy tool over here again, and we'll draw this out for you guys. All right, so here's our bearish candle. And let's say this is our bullish candle. I'll make it green for you. Just hold on. Again, I'm not going to be editing a lot in these videos. I'm just going to get the truth out there and just post it. So it's just, I don't know. It's just less confusing. All right. And then let's make this green. Okay, cool. All right, bang. So when looking at this right here, from what I just said, a high consists of a bullish candle, which is a green candle, and then after that it consists of a red candle, which is a bearish candle, and you're going to mark the highest point of the wick out of those two candles, correct? So if we see these candles right here, right? We have a bullish candle, then we have a bearish candle. We're going to mark the highest point of the wick, bang, right there. This should be your high. Right? If this candle's wick, right? Even if this candle wick was already all the way up there, where would the new high be if it looked like this? It'd be the top of this candle. So when it consists of a bullish candle and a bearish candle, no matter where the wick is out of the two, you're going to mark the highest point of the wick out of the two candles. Got it? If that's going to be a high. All right? Cool. And then a low is literally the opposite. I'll keep the high for you guys for this example. We'll draw a new one. A low consists of, we'll draw this one first. You can take a guess. A low consists of a bearish candle. That's a bullish candle. Hold on. I don't want to confuse you, actually. We'll put that there. We'll make this red. Bearish candle is a red candle. Move this over here. Move this red. And then move this right there. Okay. So, a low consists of a bearish candle, which is a red candle. And after that, as you can see, it shows a bullish candle, which is a green candle. So if you're going to mark a low, you're going to mark the lowest out of the two wicks. Correct? Cool. So out of these two whoa. Out of these two wicks, which one's the lowest one? This candle right here. Bang. That's our low. So a low is literally the opposite of a high. A high consists of a bullish candle, then a bearish candle, and you mark the highest point out of the two wicks. A low consists of a bearish candle first, then a bullish candle, and you're going to mark the lowest out of the two wicks. Correct? Cool? Got that? I think that's understandable, right? Remember, even if this wick, let's say this first wick's lower all the way down here, it's still red candle, green candle, bearish candle, bullish candle. This candle's wick's the lowest. Bang. That is going to be your low. Cool. It's really that simple. That's why I'm sounding like this, guys. Again, I try not to make trading so complicated. This is literally something that's it's very simple. It doesn't have to be something difficult. Some people teach this stuff very differently, and they make it a difficult thing on how to identify highs and lows and make it just a whole different thing it doesn't have to be. So again, I'm just trying to dumb shit down for you and just show you how I learned and how I trade, and hopefully you guys can understand it too. So remember, highs and lows are going to be on every single time frame. They're going to be in the 4 hour, the weekly, the 1 hour, the daily, the 1 minute, the 2 minute, the 5 minute, 3 minute. There's going to be highs and lows everywhere in the market. All right? So first I'm going to go over, before we go over a trend, identifying highs and lows with the candlesticks. So as you can see, we have our real candlesticks here. Right? It's a bank holiday. The market's not open. So as we can see, right? Here come the doggies. As you can see, what does a high consist of? Remember, a bullish candle, then a bearish candle. So just go back in your chart just like this and identify your highs and your lows. So look, I'm just going to do whatever color line. So look, right here, we have a high because bullish candle, bearish candle. Out of the two wicks, you mark the highest one. Correct? Now we go to a low. We have a bearish candle, then a bullish candle. Boom. There's your low. Again, bullish candle, bearish candle. Highest point. High. Same thing again. We have, look, bearish candle, then a bullish candle. There's our low. Here's an example on what you could probably, what's going to confuse you a little bit. As you can see here, we have a bearish candle, then a bearish candle, then a bearish candle. Correct? Let's say this candle isn't here yet. You wouldn't mark anything as the low yet until that bullish candle forms, right? You can't have a bearish candle, then a bearish candle, and then mark the lowest point of them. That's not how I trade. There has to at least have to be a bullish candle after that. Same thing with an uptrend. If you have a bullish candle, then a bullish candle here, let's ignore this red one right here. This still wouldn't be a high yet, technically. You'd want a bearish candle to form first, and then it would be the high. Just like this one. We formed a new bullish candle, then we formed a bearish. Now that's the high. Does that make sense? Good? Remember, it has to be, for a high, a bullish, then a bearish candle. Both of them have to be two candles closed, then you mark the highest point of the wick. Right? A low has to be a bearish candle, then a bullish candle. Two closed candles, just like that, next to each other. Bearish, bullish, red, green. Mark the lowest point of the wick. Good? Let's go over like 3 more examples, right? Go to the 4 hour time frame. Go over the 4 hour time frame. Look at this. This is all you're going to do. You're going to go back in your trading view. You're going to mark your highs and your lows if you don't know what they are yet. All right? So as we can see, right here, we have a green candle, then a red candle. Highest point out of the two wicks. Bang. That's your high. All right? And then look, right after that, we have a bearish candle, then a bullish candle. Lowest point out of the two wicks. Boom. That's your low. Keep going. bullish candle, bearish candle. There's your high. One more, bearish candle, then a bullish candle. Again, since this is a bearish candle and a bearish candle, this wouldn't be your low if this didn't form yet. But then we get a bullish candle after this bearish candle, lowest point out of the two of the wicks. Bang. There's your low. That make sense? I think that should probably make sense. It's just all you got to literally remember. High. Bullish candle, bearish candle. Mark the highest point out of the two wicks. Bang. Low. Bearish candle, bullish candle. Mark the lowest point out of the two wicks. Boom. High and low. You guys should know what a high and low is now. Pretty simple. Go back in your TradingView account, in your TradingView profile. Go back and literally just identify highs and lows, and just do that for a couple hours till you perfect it, until you can see what a high is and what a low is. And again, same thing on every single time frame. Just has to be same order. Bullish candle, bearish candle, that's a high. Bearish candle, bullish candle, that's a low. Cool? Awesome. All right, now we're going to go with what a trend is. Sorry, you're going to hear fireworks in the background because, again, it is 4th of July, so I'm currently filming this video for 4th of July. That's my 4th of July for you guys. But other than that, we're going to go over a trend now. So the market moves in 3 different ways, so 3 different trends. We have an uptrend, we have a downtrend, and then we have consolidation. It's pretty simple. All right? The market only moves in 3 different ways. Don't worry about different stuff yet, like breaker structures, how to put in a liquidity sweep or whatever, stuff like that, because you saw it on Instagram or something like that. Let's focus on these videos first. If you don't know what a trend is, let's identify your trend. You're going to go back and you're going to go in your TradingView and you're going to go back and study what I teach you in this video until you perfect it, and then boom, we'll keep moving on to the next steps. I said that like 4 times already. Trust me on this, guys. I'm trying to help you as much as possible because trading can be very confusing. Learn one thing at a time, and you'll get there. I promise. All right. So what the market moves in 3 different directions, right? So we move in an uptrend, which consists of highs and lower highs. Higher high, low, high, low, high, low, high, low. And then that'll probably be low if it continues up. All right? So look, can you guys see that probably? All right, so look, here's an uptrend. Downtrend is literally the opposite, okay? From a high, then a low, then a lower high, and a lower low, and a lower high, and a lower low, and a lower high, then a lower low. Oh, and that right there. Bang. Boom. We'll make this red for you guys. Downtrend. Bang. Boom. Uptrend, downtrend, and then if you can take a guess, consolidation is when the market is literally just moving like this. Up and down. We're not creating any higher highs or higher lows. The market is just consolidating and literally going sideways, as you can see, right? You can see the market is moving sideways. We're not going anywhere. So we have, I'll zoom out here for you. This is what it looks like. Uptrend, downtrend, consolidation. Boom. All right, let's X out consolidation. You're not really going to have to worry about that right now. You don't want to trade when the market's consolidating like that for the way I trade. But an uptrend. What would an uptrend consist of? If I had to ask you that question, this is a quick little test. What would an uptrend have to consist of to be considered an uptrend? We just learned highs and lows. So what we'd have to see is the market creates a high and then a higher low. Then we form a high. So this high goes past the most previous high, closes here. We form a bullish and a bearish candle, right? It's above this high, so there's our higher high. Correct? Then we form a low. All right? So the next low would be above the previous low. And then the market literally continues moving in that way, form a low, then a high, then a low, then a high, then a low, then a high, and then we form a low, and then hopefully we'd form a high because technically we are in an uptrend. All right? Literally the opposite with a downtrend. A downtrend we form, let's just say, here, let's make it like this. We're not going to worry about a breaker structure yet or anything like that. Let's just say the market switched up. We form a high, and then we form a low. And then we form a higher low, and then we form a lower low. I think I was at that one. Form a high, higher high, a lower high, sorry, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. Literally that simple. Like it's that simple. This is gonna be the most simplest stuff you're gonna learn in trading. I promise it's gonna get a little bit more. It's gonna get harder once we start moving down in the line for the other videos and we get later into the 2.0. But again, this is literally a trend, guys. The market only moves in three ways: uptrend, downtrend, consolidation. So again, that's a downtrend. The market moves in lower highs and lower lows, and it's just going to continue in that direction. We're not going to focus on a break of structure yet. When structure would break to the upside, and how to identify that. We're just going to look at what a trend is, okay? And there's a secret too that we're going to go over that you could use. Again, these work on every single time frame. You can identify if the 4 hours in an uptrend, if it's in a downtrend, if the 1 hour is an uptrend or in a downtrend. They work on every single time frame, but we're not going to get into break of structures yet and how to use time frames because again, we're going to use high time frames and lower time frames. We usually get a high time frame bias. Shut up. I'm going to shut up because it's going to get a little bit confusing. So let's just go over a trend with the candlesticks so you guys can understand it. So again, in the top left corner, you guys can see that? Yeah. In the top left corner, remember we went over candlesticks? You can also just switch this to a line chart and you can zoom in and you could see if we're in an uptrend or a downtrend, but I don't do that personally. I think it looks better just like this. But let's just say we're on the 4 hour, right? Let's pay attention to price after this black line. All right? So after this black line, before I get into explaining it, what would be the trend after that black line? What do you think? All right, if you should have answered, but I don't know. All right, so look, this is how we'd identify it. We learned our highs and our lows. We form a high, right? Bullish candle, bearish candle. Then we form a low, bearish candle, bullish candle. Then we form a higher high. Cool. Then we form a low. And then we form a higher high again. And we haven't formed our low yet. Because again, we haven't formed a bearish candle then a bullish candle. So in this little spot right here, past this black line, this would be considered a uptrend. We are in an uptrend because we are making highs and lows. Then we're making a higher high. So it consists of higher highs and higher lows, right? This high starts it off. This low starts it off. This next high is higher than the last high, right? And then we form a low, so this low is higher than this low. So we're going up in an uptrend. Does that make sense? That should make sense. I think I'm explaining it good enough, but again, it really is that simple. Awesome. Cool. Let's go over one more example. We'll go on a lower time frame. Let's go to 30-minute time frame. Let's look for a downtrend for you guys. All right, here. Let's map out this spot from... Let's go from this black line, from this first bullish candle, right here my thing's at, and then we'll end it right here. Okay? So in this little gap, right? Within this first 9 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. the next day. Right? Let's see how we can identify that this is a downtrend. So we mark out, we have a high. Right here, we'll go off this first candle. Bullish candle, then a bearish candle. We form a high, right? We'll make this red. Zoom in a little bit. We make it high. So now what do? We look for our next low. We have a low right here. Bearish candle, bullish candle. Lowest out of the two. These are pretty even, so we mark it out. There's our low. So now what do we look for? If we're in a downtrend, we consist of lower lows, lower highs. Now we look for our next high. Bullish candle, bearish candle. Bang! There's our lower high. Next, we go down. Here's our lower low. Bearish candle, bullish candle. Boom. Next, we look for our high. Bullish candle, bearish candle. There's our high. Look for our next low. We got a red candle and a green candle. There's our new low. Let's X these out so these don't confuse you guys. Right? And then we look for our next high. We have a green candle and a red candle. Bang, there's our high, but it's still lower than our last high because that's considered a lower high. And then we continue in a downtrend. It's that simple. Bullish candles, a bullish market, we're moving up, correct? We're in an uptrend. So that means we form a high, then a lower high. Right? And then we form after that another high. So a higher high, and then another lower high, and then a higher high, and then a lower high, and then a higher high, and a lower high. Go over it one more time for you guys with the drawing. Pretty simple. We already taught you how lows and highs, how to identify those. After that, if you can identify what a low and a high is, you can identify what a trend is. Just go back in your trading view and watch this video, and you'll be able to figure that out. This is going to be annoying. Higher high. Bang, look at that. Lower high, higher high. Look. Our next low. We form our next low. Lower high. Why is it a lower high? Because we're higher than the last low. That's pretty cool. All right. Same thing. Higher high. Bang, bang. HH. Higher high. Why is this our next higher high? Because again, look, it's higher than the last high. And this high would be what? It'd be consisted of a bullish candle, then a bearish candle. And this would be considered what? A bullish candle and a bearish candle. That's how you can mark your high. What would this be considered for the low? Bearish candle, bullish candle. Boom. There's our lower high. Bang. Or yeah, higher low, you could say. Lower high. No, higher low. HL. I'm a little retarded. I told you guys. Same shit. Let's just do this. HL. Higher low. That's how you're supposed to really say it. I don't care. I'm not cutting it out. I give you guys the truth. I told you I'm a little special. I haven't gone over this stuff in a little while, I'll be honest. But, bang. So then what would this be? Right here. Take a wild guess. Copy. Paste. Can I paste that? Ooh, yeah, you can. Boom. There's our higher low. Then it'd be a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Bang. Uptrend. That's our last example for that one. Downtrend. Right? Now it's a lower high. And then this is a lower low. Bang. So it's literally that simple. A bearish trend. So when we're moving in a downtrend, it literally consists of a lower high, a lower low, a lower high, and then the next one would be a lower low. And then if you guess next, this next high would be a lower high, because again, this high is lower than the previous high, and this low is lower than the previous low, so that means we are moving in a downtrend. A downtrend consists of lower highs and lower lows. Lower highs and lower lows. Correct? Good. Awesome. Uptrends, downtrends, consolidation, 3 ways the market moves. A high consists of, what does it consist of? A bullish candle, then a bearish candle. Cool. A low consists of a bearish candle and a bullish candle. Awesome. All right. So that video should be done, wrapped up there. It's pretty simple, guys. Don't try and make it so complicated. Trading can be dumbed down a little bit. Some people try and make this stuff so complicated, and they put too much into it, and then they just get all over the place. But again, I'm teaching the way I trade. If you don't like it, you don't have to watch me. This stuff works for me. I've proved that I can be profitable. So again, go back, watch my trade recaps and everything, and all my videos. All the proof's there, and we're going to continue putting more proof in. So I don't know. If you don't like the way I trade, go watch someone else. I really don't care. But again, I'm trying to get the best information out there for you guys, the way I trade, and hopefully help a couple people who actually want to learn. So other than that, I appreciate everybody who's liked and subscribed to my page. We're going to keep doing these videos. This is day 6 on the Master Futures Trading Blueprint 2.0. We have like 40 more videos left or something crazy like that. So we're going to keep trucking along. And hopefully I explain highs and lows and market trends good enough for you guys. Appreciate it.